Hey, how are you? Welcome to Friday, as my friend Matthias is saying in the chat. Welcome to Designing Adobe XD. I'm back after a week off. Alex, of course, that guy filled in, did an amazing job last week with Lindsay. Loved seeing Lindsay back on the stream. So here I'm back on Friday. Myself, just me here today. I could not convince any of my amazing design team to join me today, and I'm going to make them feel guilty about that. So that's all right. Hey, I'm your host, Talin Wadsworth. I'm the lead designer for Adobe XD, and thanks for joining us today here on Behance. If you're over on YouTube checking out the stream, hop over to Behance so you can say hello to us, say hi to the chat. I saw Matthias there joining us. He was tweeting about it early this morning, late last night. Thanks for doing that. What's going on, guys? Jason, thanks for coming. Good to see you guys. Gladstone. Lee, there's Lee. What's up, Lee? Tara, how are you? Agnes, thanks for joining us. How's everybody doing today? Today, we don't always do this, but actually, just to get this out of the way first, I've got some swag to give away. Some XD swag, which is always exciting. Again, just a little something I like to do every once in a while. Just happened to find some of our cool XD swag hanging around. Here we are today. A little later in the chats, I'm going to be asking some trivia questions, and you can, if you answer correctly, and the first one to answer correctly, you have a chance to win some lovely XD socks. This nice new pattern they have. I have some of the older ones on today, getting ready, getting kind of amped up for the stream. I've got some stickers, and I also have, which is a little too big to show from the GoPro, so I'm going to switch back to the main camera. I actually have a bag here as well. This bag is a prototype. Very, very appropriate for XD. Designed by our own Glaren Medigan, designer extraordinaire on XD. Hey Scott, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away two little bundles. I'll have two trivia questions, and if you answer it correctly, the first one to answer it correctly, you'll get a sock, a sticker, and a bag. And I have two of those to give away. So stay tuned. We're going to be giving those away in a little while. So yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. Merrick, how are you? Eric, how are you guys doing? Scott was our winner last time. So I will say that Scott got some socks and some stickers last time. So Scott, I hope it doesn't make me feel bad, but we're gonna give someone else a chance today. But always great to see you on the chat. Hey, if you guys have any questions about XD, have you tried XD? Do you know what XD is? Right, our app for designing and prototyping for UX and UI design. If you have any questions, of course, I've got some answers. Hopefully, today what we're gonna be doing is actually talking a little bit about how we design new features for XD. XD is kind of the first of kind of a new generation of Adobe tools from Adobe, and we release monthly updates. I don't know if you know that. So we're constantly sort of going out and getting feedback from you guys, from designers all over the world, and trying to just add the best stuff into XD so that you all can do great work with XD. And that's really what kind of drives us, what gets us excited every day to come to work. And so, we have a ton of requests that are coming in, and when we're sort of faced with this big list of requests and features, like how do we go about designing for that? Like how do we even choose? How do we kind of judge which is the one we should go with first? And so before I shared a little case study on kind of how we designed a feature called layers. Everyone, of course, knows and loves layers. But today I'm going to kind of talk about some of the underlying foundational principles that we as a design team kind of follow as we approach designing any new feature for XD. So, yeah, at least calling out the new background. Yes, I like this new background. This is very nice. A lot of depth here. Very spacey. Hey, Safdar, thanks for joining us. What's going on? Is it Kalia? What's up, man? How are you? Or person. So today I said, you guys we're gonna be, Howard, how are you doing, Howard? the new Adobe XD evangelist here joining us, everybody. Howard, going to be looking out for him to be more on the stream. Go check out all his videos while you're at it today. So, so today we're going to be I'm going to be kind of walking through just a little bit of our process, some of the principles we use to design XD. And if you have any questions, feel free to stop me. We're going to keep this really informal. You know, if you haven't checked out XD before, go download it. Would love to see what you think. So, all right. So, just to jump right into it, here we go. So again, we're going to be giving some stuff away here in a little bit. But you know, while I have you here, let's talk about design. Let's talk about XD design principles. Kind of, again, some of those things that we as a team, this is kind of how we approach designing a new feature. Again, anytime we sort of have a question about, you know, how a new feature is going to show up, or if we're going to do one versus another, these are some of those tools that we go back to kind of help us along. So this is kind of the first one, and this is really kind of the most important one, at least for me, and one I feel like I'm saying all the time, is that, you know, as we're looking at any sort of individual feature request, that it's actually not about the feature itself, it's actually about how that feature fits into a workflow. So I say this a lot. Workflows, not features, right? And what I kind of mean by that is that, you know, when we're designing a new feature or we're sort of looking at defining kind of our roadmap, you know, we should have a clear idea or a clear use case in mind of like what a designer is going to actually do with that feature and how it's going to help them be successful, right? Because if we don't have a clear idea, you know, of how that feature is going to be used, you know, by everybody inside of XD, everybody coming into the app for the first time won't either, right? And so these features really need to have a home kind of within a workflow so that you can know that I'm going to take one step and then the next step and the next step, and I'm going to come out with something really great. And early on, kind of how we use this to kind of figure out what features we need to go build is we kind of stated kind of what XD is for. We actually said like XD is for designers to help designers be successful designing mobile applications. And that's really kind of like our first sort of foundational statement. And what that did was it really helped us figure out like, okay, what features does a designer need to make a design like this? There was a version of the Google Calendar app like happen. Like what features do you need? You don't need, you know, the secret is you don't need just one feature to do this. You need a bunch of features sort of strung together. And so, you know, in this instance, to kind of illustrate this idea, is that, you know, to do this design here on the side of the screen, you need things like the artboard tool, and you need things like that we came up with, like the repeat grid that may help you do this in new and innovative ways. And then, you know, the goal of designing a mobile app is to really test its interactions and really get feedback on that. And so, you know, you need some function to be able to, some features to be able to share. And so, again, like this is how we kind of organize kind of, you know, out of the list of all the possible features that we might go and design and implement in XD, you know, this really helped us give us a roadmap, a set of priorities that we really needed to go and develop these features to help designers make great mobile applications. All right. And this is kind of just another example of that kind of key principle. You know, Adobe XD is for icons and UI. So drawing icons in UI is a really key part of working in, you know, any UX and UI designer's life. And so, you know, we need to put in a set of features that help designers do that. And if you guys have worked in, you know, Illustrator or Sketch or any apps before, you kind of know this, that you don't just use, you know, one tool to design an icon. You use a couple tools kind of choreographed together to come out with a great result. What's up, Tim? How are you? Tim, how's it going? It's great to see you guys here in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, if this is crazy, you guys like this, you have any ideas, is this making sense? Let me know. So again, this is just kind of how we kind of focus on that end use case, say an icon. I want designers in XD to create great icons. So then what features do we need to put into XD to allow a designer to make really amazing icons? So again, this is just sort of that underlying principle. It's about workflows, not the individual pieces, not the individual features. I'm sure there's a really cliched saying that sort of goes along with that, but that's kind of how we kind of approach it. And I'm going to show you guys a really clear example of kind of how all this came together. When we were first building the prototype, the early prototype for XD, when we decided, okay, this is going to be for mobile app designers, for screen designers, what we started to do is we started to actually pay a lot of attention to like what designers were actually designing and how they were designing. And we started to sort of recognize patterns. And those patterns, and you can kind of see in these two examples very clearly, it's almost like a template. It's like a repeated template of layout components, right? Like the designer probably designed like each of these little individual components in the grid or in the list view here of this news app. And then they just kind of copy and pasted and copied and pasted and then just kind of, customize the content to kind of, again, sort of see, again, all that variation, all those different, all the different designs represented here on Dribble or all the different news stories. But, again, the design is really designed to focus on that one component and then how it's repeated and how it looks. And we sort of saw that, and that pattern just started to pop out at us in kind of every mobile app that we were using and we were seeing, and any sort of websites, and that really led to actually us creating the repeat grid. And if you guys haven't used that feature, it's my favorite feature in XD to show off or design. And this is actually showing off one of the earliest prototypes. This was actually the first one where I could repeat multiple objects inside the repeat grid. I couldn't do type yet. But again, we really built that feature, those set of features around the repeat grid to help sort of optimize around the ways in which designers are working. Again, we were really focused on the workflow and the outcome and not overly focused on each individual feature. We wanted to make sure they felt very integrated together and everyone who used it could understand how the pieces all fit to come out with something really successful. And again, that was kind of an early prototype, and now we're sort of seeing it live, shipping in XD, and all the pieces are there, right? So you can now add type and images and layout, and you can customize each one without wrecking or getting the other ones out of sync when it comes to the style. And again, all these features now just sort of add up together to create this really great result. And that's kind of, again, this is sort of to me, like the purest expression of that idea, that principle, workflows. It's about the workflows, not about the individual features. All right. So yeah. So, Howard, repeat grid really changed my life. Have you guys used repeat grid? I always love seeing examples. Tweet them at me. If you guys, have been using repeat grid in cool and interesting ways, we want to see that. Tweet at me, at Mr. Talin, with any of those examples, any of those prototypes you've created in XD. Love to see it. So the second principle here that we're really trying to sort of focus on is really telling a story. And this is comes kind of from a foundational belief that UI needs to kind of tell me what's going on. That every piece of UI is doing some amount of onboarding, some amount of telling me, like what's going on here when I come into a new application for the first time. So, when designing a complex set of features and interactions, right, it's important to ground the experience with clear calls to action. That XD, any sort of design application is very complex. There's a lot of features. Where do I start? What does this thing do? What does this tool mean? It's important from the minute that I think a designer sees it is for them to kind of at least kind of orient themselves to kind of where they are and how they might start using the tool. And this is sort of baked into the sort of DNA, of XD. And this diagram was one that we came up with early on that we felt really kind of represented not just design, but the creative process, right? That this was kind of every creative story. We make something, we show it, we learn from that, and then we put that learning and that experience right back into making that thing better or making another new thing. And again, we start that process over. And if you kind of, in a very kind of clear sense, we kind of translated the core workflow of XD from that diagram of the creative process as we were kind of defining it. And so XD is for designing, for prototyping, and for sharing. And it's really that end-to-end workflow, that feedback loop that really helps us become kind of better designers. And again, that's really kind of rooted in the experience of XD in a very kind of clear way. Again, if you sort of put these out to the side, and then you kind of, again, you sort of put them into the UI, you start to see, again, how this story is starting to sort of be told, within the UI of XD, right? You can come into XD, you design something, you wire all the interactions together, and then you share it with your colleagues and your stakeholders. I'm glad, Matthias. Please, yes, anything that resonates here with you, I'd love to know. Yeah, so let me know what you think. I love hearing it. Again, this is kind of the first time I think I've really shared this kind of in a big public way. So again, this is really kind of about our team, but it's fun to kind of give everyone a peek into kind of how we work. And this even, this storytelling, I think, even goes down to sometimes not, I want to say an unconscious level, but even in the ways in which we understand information, right? And even in the ways in which the app is organized, not even like the big UI pieces, but just like how the elements are composed together. So, kind of coming from kind of a more, I'll say, be honest, a more Western sort of standpoint, sort of reading or approaching things in a left to right fashion, really actually organized, major pieces of the UI. So the toolbar is here on the left, and that's where you pick up a tool, and then you move over and you draw something on the canvas, and then over on the right is where you edit the properties. And so even the organization and the layout of the UI is really kind of leading you and telling you a story on how best to use XD. And not only is it sort of the big pieces, those big storytelling moments, but it's the little details too that we really like to focus on. And even down to the decorations of the objects on canvas in the UI. Again, something that I think that we've kind of lived with for a long time, that maybe we haven't been aware of, that we traditionally kind of look at, we look for these little handles, on the objects on the canvas. And we really wanted to make this purposeful, and we really wanted to tell a story even on the canvas of XD, and take those opportunities to help people understand, what to do with these things once they're there. And so you'll see this clearly today in things that are, objects, just basic objects that you can sort of edit and, rotate and scale, versus things that might behave by different rules, like symbols or repeat grid. Like symbols actually behave a little differently than normal objects, and so we made a decision to actually make those a different color. Again, really thinking about the story that was being told to you, on the canvas. So when you looked at it, again, you wouldn't expect these things to behave in the same way. And going a little further and going back to repeat grid, actually customizing those decorations again to help you understand how to interact with this new object on the canvas. And so rather than having those traditional kind of like little nodes around the selection box, you now have these handles that really kind of prompt you to kind of interact with them, drag them and interact with them. And so we're really thinking about the story that the XD is telling you, again, even on all the way down to these little details on canvas. Yeah. Eric, you're way too nice. This is, I just like my job. I like my team. They're great. This is the most talented group of people I think I've ever worked with. Kind of the last one here, and then actually maybe let's go through this last one, and then I think we'll give away some of our little swag. So this last one I think is really, again, baked into the DNA of the XD team, which is that every time we had a design or a prototype or a working build, our goal was to get it into the hands of designers as soon as possible. And it really influenced, again, the ways in which we released XD. We released XD originally as a beta. And then, again, it influenced how we released new features. At every point, right, we really know that, like, we're not the users, that we know too much, and we really want to get that feedback. And that's really important to the team. This is just a little thing. Like, we always want that mind meld, right? We want to hear directly from users and designers, like how they're interacting with XD and the problems they're having, and that really helps guide kind of the future of XD. And one of the earliest things that we did is we had a public Slack channel where we were sharing early designs and builds of XD with design, here with all the designers here at Adobe. And so we were sharing very early all of those builds and getting that feedback. And then we were going out and meeting directly with customers. There's Jay Meisner hanging out there, meeting with customers, I think probably over in Europe somewhere. Actually, the designer of, I would be, be sad if I didn't actually show off the t-shirt I have on today that Jay and his team created. I'm a huge Ramones fan. So this is the Ramones version of the Adobe XD swag. It says design at the speed of thought. You know, if you know that old Ramones logo. So Jay, he's the creator of that. I just got to call that out. I love this shirt, Jay. Jay, if you're on the stream, say hi. And of course, one of the things that we do today and still do today is we actually have a user voice forum. So if you guys haven't checked it out and you have an idea for a new feature you'd love to see in XD, this is the place to go. And this is a place where, we sort of have grown a community of designers who are giving us feedback on builds of XD and also suggesting new features and then voting on features. And so this is a really amazing sort of resource for us. And again, this is where we get a lot of the great ideas that we then put back into XD. And this is an example of a post, and I was so grateful to Ivana here. We actually put out an early prototype of layers, a design prototype, just a video, to get people's feedback. And if you want to see that video, you can actually go back to a previous version of the show, previous episode of the show, where I walk through kind of the case study of layers. Pretty cool. But we put that out there very early so we could get feedback. And people really, really took it seriously and gave us a lot of great feedback and really helped make that feature and those workflows better. And that's really just baked into how we, as an XD team, design and build XD. And of course, here we are. Oh, this is really weird now with my positioning. But then, we've actually started, having these moments where we're actually designing XD live and actually sharing a lot and getting our feedback in real time, on the Adobe live stream. So that's been really great. And this is a prototype that Michael and I actually designed live on the stream previously. So it's a lot really cool. Again, really just I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, kind of like how we work as a team. And now let's give away some swag. All right, so if you missed it earlier, we have little care packages of swag. I've got socks, very lovely with the XD logo. Some nice sort of stripes here. I've got some stickers, and I have a bag. So I have two questions, two trivia questions. All right, you guys ready? So the winner, I have two questions. The winner of each will get the bag, a sock, and some stickers. All right, so you ready? So if you're on YouTube watching, come over. You gotta be in the Behance chat to win. So I'm gonna have two questions. All right. You guys ready? You ready for the two questions? All right, get it ready. It's gonna be first one to get the right answer. Scott, you probably already know the answer. That's so to these ones. He got a really hard one last time. All right, so my first question to win the swag today: what was the first official name of XD when we first went out in beta? What was our beta name when we first were announced at Max in 2016? 2015. Oh! Matthias, can you win? What do you think, Paco? With Matthias, he's got the green, he's got the blue check marks. Was there somebody before Matthias? Didn't say Project Comet. Okay, who was the first to say Project Comet?
The next one was
Mariana. All right. Congrats, Mariana. Matthias, I'll get you some swag, man. No worries with you. You're official. So no sweat there, man. All right. Mariana, congratulations. Socks, stickers, bag will be on your way. Mariana, we're going to reach out to you and get your contact information, and we'll get those sent off. All right? Excellent. Okay. All right, everybody. Are you ready for the next one? I don't know if this is easier or harder than the last one, but we'll get this going on. Okay. Everybody ready for our next trivia question? What is the most voted, the top feature requested on the the Adobe XD user voice forum? First one. What's the top one? Anybody know? Everybody's going to look? Not rulers, not timelines, not hover, not guides, Carlos. Mariana, you won. Don't give it away. All right. I think we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go with Harvey. Harvey, you are correct. Animations is the top requested feature in our user voice forum. So if you guys have any requests, that's the place that, well, yeah, Eric, you're a little more specific, but in this one I will take animations because we're pretty excited about some stuff that we've been working on that we hope to share very soon. So yeah, there's a ton of votes. That is the one. I want it. I want that feature. What's up, team? Can't you like hook me up? Rulers in dark mode would also be good, Luca. But you know, Matthias and Tim and I, we've gone a couple rounds on rulers. I don't know, man. I'm skeptical. Yeah, I don't know. We need some more convincing. Go vote on it. Yeah. So there. Congratulations to Harvey and Mariana. Both of you hang out. We're gonna get your contact information, and I'm gonna get those sent off to you as soon as I can. So congratulations. And now I know where there's more stash of swag. So maybe we'll do some more. Harvey, on the adobexd.uservoice.com will be where you guys can go vote, suggest new features of yourselves. You know, like if there's not something on there that you think should be in XD, let us know. I know I have a list. You know, I have my own list, but animations is still at the top of that list, so I wouldn't be that. I'm going right along with everyone else on user voice. I haven't voted there, but yeah. Oh yeah, that Luca you did design a dark mode for XD. You should post that, man, like on Twitter again. I'd love to see dark mode. And there was an episode where we actually talked about Spectrum, which is kind of our design system style guide that we use here at Adobe to design XD. And Spectrum, I will say, does support both a light mode and a dark mode. Probably just some time. But if you want, Luca, go vote on the dark mode, because I'm pretty sure it's there on user voice. So yeah, everyone, thank you all for joining us. Do you guys have any questions here in the last few minutes? Said you want, like, what do you think about the sort of, again, like, how we design? Are there any, features that you're particularly looking for? Dark mode. I know that plugins have been very high on the list. Don't know if anybody's interested in plugins. That's a pretty hot topic. Any other features you're looking for? Let us know. Yeah. And if you guys, I love seeing the great stuff that you're creating in XD. Feel free to tweet at me at Mr. Talin on Twitter. I'd love seeing the amazing work that you guys are creating in XD. If you want to go check out our Dribble, the team's sharing a bunch of work that we're designing with XD and features that we're designing in XD. We're also posting up on Dribble now. We have an Adobe XD team page on Dribble. So go join us there, check it out. Yeah, join the conversation. Again, like, we're really building XD so that you guys can make great stuff, and we want to see it. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Next week, we will be back here at noon, and we'll have another great topic, maybe some more swag to give away. And thank you all for joining. Yeah, let me know. This will be on YouTube. Go check it out. Leave us comments there. Anel, Merrick, Luca, Eric, Scott. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.